Letecia Stoch, arrest affidavit. Starting page 23 of 32. Ending at 32 of 32, signed of on the 28th of February, 2020. During the first 24 to 48 hours surrounding the disappearance of a child, it is reasonable that an assumingly innocent parent or step-parent would be contributing to search efforts, and fully participating in the effort to recover the child. 1. In the 24 to 48 hours surrounding Gannon's disappearance, Letecia rented a vehicle, turned her cell phone off for approximately 4 hours on the evening of the 28th of January, 2020, washed her Tiguan immediately prior to coming to the EPSU for an interview, evaded law enforcement's attempts to conduct an in-depth interview, and did not participate in the search for Gannon. On Tuesday the 28th of January, 2020, between 0848 and 0854, Letecia instructed Hatley to pull your car in the garage via text message, presumably to temporarily cover up any potential evidence left behind. To be clear, Harley has her own vehicle that was mentioned above in paragraph 13, specifically a Volkswagen Jetta. On the 28th of January, 2020, at approximately 1604-1617 hours, investigators asked Letecia for Gannon's toothbrush to recover his DNA. At or about L619 hours, Letecia did a search in her internet browser of "They are asking for our son's toothbrush but said nothing is wrong." At or about 1633 hours, Letecia has a text conversation with Mr. Stoch. Letecia, something isn't right, I think they are hiding something. Mr. Stoch, who? The police. Letecia, yes, they asked for toothbrushes. Mr. Stoch, what do you think they're hiding? Also on the 28th of January, 2020 at or about 2245 hours, Letecia made a statement to investigators via text message. At the time of this statement, Gannon had been missing for approximately 27 hours, and Letecia believed she was a subject in his disappearance without any prior prompting from law enforcement, or notification of such. Letecia, what do you want from me? Because one have nothing. One of your very own leaked to me what you guys were doing. One did nothing and /or am being set up. I not really even sure other that being told that by another blue with El Paso. I was told I couldn't go home to sleep, and on top of that men were sent to a home with a minor female and she was forced to stay there, not to even leave for food. Every conversation that said even at this moment I can hear inside. What do you want from me? Detective Bethel, come in to talk to me. I would just like information to find Gannon. After EPSU investigators seized Letecia's Volkswagen Tiguan on the 29th of January, 2020, she obtained a 2020 Nissan Altima. Investigators applied for, and were granted a search warrant by this court to install a GPS tracker on the vehicle. Investigators monitored this tracking device, which provided particularly useful information on the 31st of January, 2020. A map with some of this data is included below. This information will be discussed below, and relates to the area north of Palmer Lake and along HWY 105/S Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado. In summary, investigators believe Letecia utilized the rented Nissan Altima to return to the area in which she disposed of Gannon's body. Indeed, investigators recovered a piece of particle board from this area with Gannon's blood on it. This information will be discussed below in more detail. Photo, the 31st of January, 2020 GPS tracker data in the area north of Palmer Lake, Colorado. The fact LaTesha came back to this area on the 31st of January, 2020 is significant, and investigators have not recovered any evidence that LaTesha has family or friends that live in that area, or any legitimate reason for her presence in that area other than to dispose of incriminating evidence. One submit a reasonable theory for the fact LaTesha returned to this area, based on the information presented in this affidavit as follows. LaTesha disposed of Gannon's remains at night time, and likely was nervous about the location she chose, and may not have even remembered exactly where she dumped Gannon's remains. Investigators believe that on the 31st of January, 2020, she went back to the area to view the area while sunlight was available, to ensure no evidence was viewable from the road, to ensure his remains were adequately covered to prevent detection, and to see if any law enforcement was in the area. The exploitation of the Volkswagen Tiguan data. Investigators were able to remove a computer chip from LaTesha's Volkswagen Tiguan, which was examined by the FBI. The FBI was able to recover data, hereinafter raw data, which included, but is not limited to, the estimated location of the vehicle specifically related to the evening of the 28th of January, 2020, and the morning of the 29th of January, 2020. The raw data has not been scientifically evaluated, and the raw data that was provided was not portrayed to be an exact representation of the vehicle's activities. Additionally, I have been told that the raw data has particular limitations, including the inability to show the exact location of the vehicle. For example, if the Tiguan was taken off-road, the raw data may not show that, and display the estimated location on the nearest road. Furthermore, the estimated location may have some degree of fluctuation in accuracy, estimated to be approximately 50 meters. FBI agents, including Special Agent Sa Donati, took steps to verify and corroborate the data recovered from the Tiguan. In summary, Sa Donati was able to tap some of the raw data, including location and time stamp, and compare it to other evidence. As with other forensic evidence discussed in this affidavit, investigators believe it to be reliable. For example, the Tiguan raw data placed the Tiguan leaving the Colorado Springs airport just after 1900 hours on the 28th of January, 2020. This information matched the timestamp of the 28th of January, 2020 Colorado Springs airport parking receipt to the Tiguan data. The Tiguan raw data indicated the Tiguan stopped near a King Soopers parking lot for approximately 10 minutes after leaving the airport, between 2008 hours to 2018 hours. Sa Donati was able to review video surveillance footage from that King Soopers, which indeed showed a dark SUV matching the description of the Tiguan sitting in the parking lot during that same time period. Other footage, including video footage from a Wendy's restaurant in a separate location, helped to further corroborate the raw data. Of significant importance, the raw data showed the Tiguan in the area of HWI 105/S Perry Park Road between 2115 hours and 2130 hours on the 28th of January, 2020, and I have included a map depicting that data. The raw data also indicated the Tiguan stopped for approximately 5 minutes, in an area proximate to the recovery of Gannon blood on the 15th of February, 2020. This is the same area LaTesha likely drove to in her Nissan Altima rental vehicle on the 31st of January, 2020. The recovery of Gannon's blood in this area is discussed below. Photo, Tiguan raw data depicting its activities on HWI 105/S Perry Park Road on 1/28/2020. Investigators were also able to compare Letecia's historical cell site information, including Nello's data, against the Tiguan raw data, and found no reason to believe that Letecia was not the driver of the Tiguan on the 28th of January, 2020. The continued evolution of Letecia's stories. Investigators conducted several consensually monitored telephone calls with Mr. Stoach. Specifically, Mr. Stoach, at the direction of law enforcement, communicated with Letecia via telephone and email. These communications have been recorded and memorialized, and consisted of hours of recorded conversation. I will not provide a transcription of these calls, but will summarize the importance of particular changes in Letecia's story, and will also include exculpatory information related to Letecia's statements. Letecia never admitted to killing Gannon. For the purposes of refreshing the court, here is a summary of some of Letecia's statements, whether to law enforcement, directly through the media, and / or to Mr. Stoach in recorded email and voice communications. On the 27th of January, 2020, Letecia stated, "Gannon left to play at a friend's house and did not come home at 1800 hours like he was supposed to." The 29th of January, 2020, Letecia states, "She was held at gunpoint, raped, and Gannon was abducted by her rapist." Within Letecia's falsehoods, there are details corroborated by physical evidence that would be near impossible to know without being intimately involved in the murder. Letecia has made statements to explain blood on the walls in Gannon's bedroom, blood on the rear bumper of the Tiguan, and blood in the garage of the Stoach residence. Details of the location of blood evidence has not been released to the media nor to Letecia and has been closely held throughout this investigation. Furthermore, Letecia has continued to provide alibis for her physical locations not previously disclosed to investigators. Her statements continue to evolve in a dramatic way, and all are remarkably different from the original report to EPSU. The majority of the conversations between Letecia and Albert Stoach begin around the 13th of February, 2020. Over several days, Letecia's story continued to change. During a phone call on the 13th of February, 2020, Letecia stated that Gannon was burned by a candle to the point that his skin bubbled, and that Gannon peeled the burns off and wiped blood on his bedroom wall. Mr. Stoach did not ask about blood on the walls of his room during this call. The fact she provided information about blood on the wall likely indicates her knowledge of the murder scene. On the 14th of February, 2020, Letecia had an additional conversation with Mr. Stoach, and provided 4 additional versions of Gannon's disappearance. Story #1. When EPSU came to the house on the 27th of January, 2020, the abductor was still in her residence, and that she tried to signal to EPSU deputies that there was somebody in the residence. It should be noted that EPSU deputies checked the entirety of the house and no additional person was located during that search. Story #2. She was raped by Quincy Brown at her residence, and Brown abducted Gannon. She knew Brown's identity because she saw a paper and his identification card fall out of his pocket that had his name on it. Letecia sent a photograph of Quincy Brown to Mr. Stoach via text message. It is noted this photograph mirrored images online wherein Quincy Brown was listed as a most wanted suspect, discussed below. Story #3. Quincy Brown followed her from Petco, and at some point, was laying in the middle of the road in front of her car. When Letecia stopped to avoid running the man over, he jumped into her car and made her take him home, then raped her. Story #4. Letecia and Gannon were near County Line Road /HWI 105 in northern El Paso County on the 27th of January. 2020. Gannon was riding a bicycle in that area and fell off, hit his head, and was then abducted by Quincy Brown. In this version of events, Quincy Brown was driven by a man named Terrence. The 14th of February 2020 story #4 has several interesting considerations. During the period of the 12th of February 2020, it was public knowledge by virtue of media coverage that investigators were searching for Gannon in the area of HWY 105/S Perry Park Road in southern Douglas County near the El Paso County line. LaTesha brought this location up on her own, without prompt during a conversation, and provided an alibi for why she was in that area. LaTesha was adamant that investigators' efforts to search for Gannon in that area would be futile. This area turned out to be significant based on the Tiguan's location on the 28th of January 2020, and that Gannon's blood was found in this area, discussed below in more detail. Furthermore, as mentioned above, LaTesha drove through this same area in her Nissan Altima rental vehicle on the 31st of January 2020. 1. Submit that based on raw data retrieved from the Tiguan, LaTesha was likely in the area of HWY 105/S Perry Park Road on the evening of the 28th of January 2020, and Gannon's remains were dumped in the vicinity of that area. LaTesha's story 1 is the foundation for a reason why investigators may look at Gannon's body with head trauma. On the 15th of February 2020, LaTesha provided additional conflicting stories to Mr. Stoach, including that the story she told Albert Stoach about Gannon falling off the bike was a lie, because it was what she believed he wanted to hear. LaTesha stated the blood in the corner of Gannon's room was a combination of her and Gannon's. In this explanation, she stated that the abductor anally penetrated both her and Gannon with an object. Additionally, she was tied up at some point in TBE abduction, and the abductor was still present during the EPSU visit that night. Quincy Brown. Quincy Brown, age 37, was listed on El Paso County's most wanted list on the 12th of February 2020. One was able to locate Brown's photo on KKTV News website, where they describe Brown as a black male. It is noted that during one of LaTesha's stories, she describes her rapist as a Hispanic male. The photo on this website appeared to be the same photo LaTesha sent to Mr. Stoach. Brown has outstanding arrest warrants for failure to register as a sex offender, and failure to appear. These warrants appear to have been open since 2018. I was able to find a criminal history for Quincy Brown, date of birth 10/21/1981, which included, but was not limited to, a 2001 arrest for LST degree kidnapping in El Paso County Court Case 2001 CR 4383, which was pled to felony menacing. Investigators have uncovered no evidence to support that Quincy Brown was involved in Gannon's disappearance. Gannon's blood is located in Douglas County, Colorado on the 15th of February 2020. As mentioned above, investigators began to focus a search effort for Gannon's remains in the area of HWY 105/S Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado on the 12th of February 2020. There is not an exact address to reference due to the rural nature of the area. This particular location was deemed important based on raw data from the Tiguan on the 28th of January 2020, and the location data from her rental vehicle on the 31st of January 2020. On the 15th of February 2020, searchers located a piece of particle board during that search. The particle board had a stain that appeared to be consistent with blood, and is pictured below. I have added a red circle to indicate the location of the blood stain. The particle board was collected by the FBL Evidence Response Team, and transported to the Metro Crime Lab, Also on the 15th of February 2020. An initial test revealed a positive presumptive result for the presence of human or high primate blood. Further testing was conducted, and a DNA profile was developed and compared to Gannon's on the 16th of February 2020. That profile matched the DNA profile of Gannon Stoach, and is documented in Metro Crime Laboratory Report 20 MCL00267. Photo: particle board located in the area of 105/South Perry Park Road. The reasonable explanation for the discovery of this particle board with Gannon's blood on it is that Letesha used this particle board during the disposal of Gannon's remains. The area in which the particle board was found is rural, and the ground was covered by approximately 6 to 12 inches of snow. Additionally, as the area is rural in nature, it is likely populated by wildlife including predators such as bear, coyotes, and mountain lions. Gannon's remains have not been located, and while investigators will continue to search the area, it is possible those remains have since been scattered since the 28th of January 2020. The below map depicts the area where the particle board was recovered, compared with raw data from the Tiguan's location, while idling for approximately 5 minutes, on the 28th of January 2020, and the GPS tracker data from the Nissan Altima on the 31st of January 2020. As noted above, the raw data of the Tiguan has an estimated 50 to 100 meter variance. Photo: approximate location of particle board versus Tiguan and Altima approximate tracking data. Redacted. Additionally, investigators were granted a pen and system, GPS, pings, and cell site sector information. Investigators monitored Letesha's telephone, and recorded hours of communication between Stoach and others. Each and every communication intercepted is not included within this affidavit. As during other portions of the investigation, Letesha continued to provide different stories to different people about Gannon's disappearance. Letesha provided false information to her sister, and other family members. Redacted, during which Letesha provided multiple different stories for what happened to Gannon. Several of these stories were discussed above. On the 16th of February, 2020 call at or about 19:28 hours, Letesha told a female, believed to be Tila Cummings, that she has been giving Al numerous false stories because she knows he will not believe anything she says. On the 17th of February, 2020 call at or about 1353 hours, Letesha told a female, believed to be associated with Laura Abernathy, that she was thinking about flying out to Colorado to take a lie detector test to prove her innocence. During that call, she stated, "They think I'm still in Colorado." On the 17th of February, 2020 call at or about 1611 hours, Letesha told an unknown female that she is going to take a lie detector test, but that the test is not admissible in court, and no law enforcement would be present. Letesha attempted to obtain fake polygraph results. On the 18th of February, 2020 call at or about 1014 hours, Letesha called 321-247-6876. I conducted research on that phone number, and learned it was associated with factpolygraph.com. During that call, Letesha stated she never got a confirmation for a test she paid for. Letesha provided the spelling of her name, and before disconnecting the call, the unknown male stated he would resend her the results to her email. I viewed the website fakepolygraph.com, and found the following information. Screenshot taken on 02/19/2020 from http://www/fakepolygraph.com. Also on the 18th of February, 2020, at or about 11:06 hours, Letesha again called 321-247-6876. During this call, Letesha inquired about an email she received. The unknown mail stated that her report was blocked by management based on the content of the questions, and stated that with any illegal activities they reserve the right to not send the report. Letesha's response was the following. Letesha, what do you do now? Just delete it and go on about life and keep the money. Mail@fakepolygraph.com, yes. We do indeed. Letesha, okay, one gotcha. Thank you, goodbye. Investigators contacted Luke Devlin utilizing the phone number 321-247-6876 that Letesha called. Mr. Devlin provided information to investigators, including the questions and answers that Letesha had provided. Letesha provided the following questions and the answers that were supposed to be truthful to fakepolygraph.com. A. Do you intend to answer these questions regarding your stepson truthfully? Yes. B. Is your birthday the 4th of August, 1983? Yes. C. Did you participate in any way in causing harm to your stepson? No. D. Did your stepson return with you to your home? Yes. E. Did you participate in any way in causing the death of your stepson? No. I submit to the court that if Letesha had nothing to hide, she would not have to pay for fake polygraph results. Conclusion. Based on data collected by the FBI, and reported in the Journal of Forensic Sciences, I learned that in over 71% of homicide cases that involve false reporting, the reporting party is responsible for the murder. To be clear, this statistic is not being provided as sole probable cause for the requested warrant, but as an additional fact to be combined with others listed in this affidavit. Based on Letesha's internet history, it is reasonable to believe that she was unhappily married to Mr. Stoch, and had some degree of resentment towards the family as a step-parent. Furthermore, days before Gannon's murder, Letesha appeared to be researching a move to another state to a 2-bedroom apartment. Letesha has not provided a fully truthful statement to investigators at any point during this investigation, particularly regarding the circumstances of Gannon's disappearance. This would reasonably be suspected activity of an individual that committed the crime under investigation, namely murder. Within approximately 24 hours of Gannon being reported missing, and without external prompt, Letesha made claims to law enforcement that she was being set up. Initially, Letesha said Gannon was playing with a neighborhood friend between approximately 1,515 hours and 1,600 hours, and was expected home at 1,800 hours. Within a few days, Letesha changed her story to label herself as a victim of rape, felony menacing with a weapon, and assault, resulting in Gannon's abduction by her rapist. Her stories continued to evolve to include a new location of Gannon's disappearance over 30 miles away, several completely different sets of circumstances, and unprompted explanations for why Gannon's blood would be found by investigators in key locations. Letesha was unable to provide a logical reason why she rented another vehicle while she still had access to the Tiguan. Based on the aforementioned facts, it was likely because it contained the remains of, or evidence of Gannon's remains, based on positive reactions to luminol in the Tiguan on the bumper, indicating the likely presence of blood on the rear tailgate. A suspected blood sample from the interior of the trunk area returned a negative result for the presumptive presence of blood. Gannon's mattress has a large red stain on it that is consistent with blood. Based on the orientation of the mattress in the room, it appears that is where Gannon's head and upper torso would have been. Below that same area, a substance that was confirmed as blood by the Metro Crime Laboratory soaked through the carpet, the pad, and stained the concrete. This blood matches the DNA profile for Gannon Stoach. In this same area, blood samples taken from the wall, namely an electrical outlet, were also confused to match Gannon's DNA profile. Gannon's blood, again matched to his DNA profile, was also found on a piece of particleboard in the area of HWY 1054/S Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado. This particular area is consistent with Letecia's travels on the 28th of January, 2020, and the 31st of January, 2020 based on GPS tracker locations of her Nissan Altima rental vehicle, and raw data from the Tiguan. During her stories to Mr. Stoach, without prompt, Letecia provided explanations for why blood would be found on Gannon's bedroom wall. Other than Letecia being present for Gannon's murder, and being present for the cleaning of the murder scene, there is no reasonable explanation for how Letecia would know there was blood on Gannon's wall, as that evidence had not been released to the media. Again, without prompt, Letecia provided an alibi for why she was in the area where the particleboard was recovered. By combining cell tower data, reviewing video surveillance, and home security system logs, investigators believe based on the evidence the only 3 individuals with access to Gannon on the afternoon of the 27th of January, 2020 were Letecia, Harley, and 8-year-old Lena. With the exception of Lena, who is not considered a suspect, it appears nobody other than Letecia was with Gannon at the Stoach residence between the hours of approximately 1416 and 1734 hours on the 27th of January, 2020, when investigators suspect Letecia murdered Gannon. Gannon has been missing for approximately 4 weeks, and there has been national news attention on major networks related to his disappearance. Local efforts, including posters, news coverage, search teams, and social media postings have also failed to locate Gannon. Aerial assets, infrared forward/FLIR technology, and other extraordinary methods have been deployed to help locate Gannon. Over 200 volunteers have helped to search for Gannon, comprising thousands of man-hours in several different locations. Additionally, although the EPSU has received hundreds of tips, nobody has provided information that has led to Gannon's location. His family and friends have not heard from him, and Gannon is only 11 years old with no financial resources. Letecia Stoach was the last person to see Gannon alive. Investigators have not located Fannon's remains at this point in time, although the search continues. As additional time increases without locating Gannon, the more likely it is that Gannon is not alive. Based on the facts set forth above, I submit probable cause exists to believe that, on or about the 27th of January, 2020 within the state of Colorado, and within El Paso County, Letecia Stoach committed the offenses, in violation of Colorado revised statutes to include, murder in the first degree, child under 12, position of trust, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. P. 193. Therefore, your affiant respectfully requests the issuance of an arrest warrant charging the same.